Welcome back to our video instructions on updating our ePortfolio websites. This video is going to follow along with the directions on part number 4, which is all about uploading documents from the Google Drive. So I'm going to open a new tab and go to sites.google.com to get back to my website. We already have our tabs at the top for the new pages that we added, and we know we want to start adding some documents to each of those pages. I'm going to add some documents for the background check, the placement letter, and other items that I already have ready to go. Before I can use this button to upload from the Google Drive, I have to have my files already organized to be able to pull from the drive onto the website. So a couple of things we need to do to get organized before we go to this button is to have some files and folders ready to go. So I'm going to show you a little bit of my desktop here, and you'll see that I have a file on my desktop that is EDUC 381 documents. In my folder, I have my blue card, the classroom diagram that goes along with field experience report number 1. I have my full lesson plan number 1 ready to go, and I also have my placement letter. So having a file organized on your desktop or maybe on a USB drive is a smart idea to be able to get your documents quickly and easily. The next thing we have to do is have the files organized in Google Drive. So I'm going to open a new tab so that I don't lose my website tab. And I'm going to go to Google Drive, where again, I'm going to create my folder to keep organized. So I want to use the plus new and select a folder. I'm going to call this folder EDUC 381 website so it is something easy to find. And after I've created that folder, what I need to do is share access to the folder so that we can actually view all the documents on the website. With the folder highlighted like this, before I actually click in the folder, we want to have the folder highlighted in blue, and we're going to use this plus people button to share access. Under the advanced menu, we're going to change from private access to this middle one here, where anyone with the link can have access to view the documents. You can make your access public, but I recommend using this middle one, anyone with the link. Save and hit done, and you'll see that the access has been changed to where other people can view your folder. This is a really important step to take, because if we didn't share access to the folder, that would mean that we have to share access to each file individually, which becomes a lot more of a pain than just having the folder with shared access, to where any file that we upload in here will already have that same access. So now my Google Drive is ready for files. I'm going to go back to my file from my desktop and drag and drop the files over to Google Drive. You can get files two ways. You can drag and drop them like this, or I'll also show you with the last document how to just add them from the plus new button. So plus new, file upload, and I'll get that last placement letter there this way. Either way you upload your files is fine, but we do need to have files already in the Google Drive before we can go back to the website and actually insert things from the Google Drive. But we're organized now and ready to go. So insert from Drive. You'll see your folders there, and I titled mine EDUC 381 website so that it was easy to find. In that folder, I have all of my files, and I'm going to start with the blue card. So I select it and insert it onto the page. It didn't automatically place it in my little blue card background check section, but all I have to do is drag the file over to insert it into that section. And I can also start to resize things to where it looks nice and clean in that section. Maybe I'll go ahead and also center this on there, center that title so it looks nice and clean, and change things as I want them to be viewable. Remember, for your blue card, you're going to need a picture of both the front and the back of the blue card in this little section. The next thing I'm going to upload is my placement letter. So again, insert from Drive. I go down to my placement letter, select it, and insert onto the page. I do want to rearrange it because I want my placement letter to be on the same tiled background that I created earlier for the placeholder. I'm going to drag the placement letter over, and then I'm going to go ahead and center this title again. I like it to be centered so it looks clean. Excuse me. The next thing I might do is work on resizing this letter because right now it looks pretty big and I don't want it to take up too much of the page. However, I do want to be able to show the whole letter. So I'm going to resize and drag that page down so we can see the whole letter all at once. But I don't want it taking up too much space, so I'll resize this way as well. And lastly, just get it centered there. I don't want it to be too big because I want the viewer to be able to see that I have a new section down below that they still need to navigate to. So we don't want any documents to take up too much space on the page. Be very selective about how large you make your documents. The next document I wanted to upload was a lesson. I had my full lesson number 1 ready to go. So I'm going to insert from Google Drive, and there's my lesson plan that I can insert onto the page and again drag it to its correct location. I'm going to go ahead and change the background real quick here so that I have everything in a similar background for the section. Another thing I'm going to do on this section is maybe change my layout a little bit. If you remember, the lesson plan also has to go with a lesson reflection, so a different layout might make more sense to have 2 items included there rather than just 1 item. So what I did is I selected this layout for having 2 items, and now I can start to rearrange things to where the layout makes more sense for this section. I'm going to get rid of this title, so I'm going to delete it because I can have the title down here instead. I might also use this little text box here to describe my lesson. Maybe this was a language arts lesson on writing a thesis statement. I can rearrange the size of everything to make it look more manageable. Over here, I might decide that I don't need a document, but all I need is the text box to have my reflection. So if I just click on the part I want to get rid of and delete it. I can keep the title here on reflection and use this space to write my narrative. Reflection over how the lesson went and what I might do differently if I taught the lesson again. You're already going to be writing these reflections for Canvas assignments, so you can just copy and paste them over to your website as well. And then I'm going to go back to that background so we see that all of this is meant to go together on the same background, which is going to end up looking different than full lesson number 2, which can have another background. The last document that I want to upload was related to the observation report. I had my classroom diagram and my observation report ready to go for classroom environment. So I'm going to insert from Google Drive, and I'm going to insert my classroom diagram and my report. So first I get both of them on the page, then I'm going to drag the classroom diagram over and the report over, and I can start to rearrange things to make it look nice. So here, I might keep my diagram with the title and then have the report next to it. I can resize the report so that it's easily viewable. I don't need to show all 3 pages of the report, but maybe just the snapshot of the first page. I can also resize my diagram. So that we can see the whole diagram. So, as you have more and more documents to upload, you can mess around with the sizing of things. You can rearrange the order of things. And you can use the layouts over here to make the page look any way you want. Have fun uploading your documents and make sure that you're always checking back in on your website from week to week as we have more and more files to upload. This video gives you the basic snapshot of uploading the files, but you'll want to manage your time wisely over the next couple of weeks in order to do this on your own, and before you know it, you'll have a complete ePortfolio website ready to go. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing your websites.